The last few years has been characterized by a complete reversal in globalization. 1 decade ago, and relations between Russia, China, and the West were improving as our supply chain slowly but surely got more and more integrated. But the pandemic revealed China as the beast it really was, and the Russian invasion of Ukraine sent relations between us and them back into the Cold War. Sanctions were thrown left, right, and center, and it all coalesced on one thing: the financial might of the United States and the US dollar. It makes sense, but it still shocked many people. But the current world order is focused on the US dollar, on its dominance over trade throughout the world, and notably when it comes to oil and energy markets in particular. But the East is fighting back. They are not taking this sitting down, and we may now be watching the collapse of the current world order and the US dollar all in one. But thankfully there is one shining beacon, a place and way to protect our wealth even if the US dollar falls apart around us. A way to buy gold at a 50% discount from market rates through US GoldMining, a stock that just IPO'd a few weeks ago and is massively undervalued, but more on that later. What actually caused the start of this ordeal though? Well, it doesn't actually start with Russia's invasion of Ukraine, and it doesn't start with the sanctions the West placed on Russia either. It began over 15 years ago when the Western financial systems began their largest collapse in decades. The global financial crisis started, and so did the fall of the American-dominated world. We had made debt as cheap as possible and encouraged millions of people to leverage themselves to the hilt, buying up homes they couldn't afford, and obviously it all fell apart when people just simply couldn't afford to pay the debt back off. Our governments reacted in a new manner to this recession, and they adopted quantitative easing as a policy, and they started printing money. At first it didn't go awfully. Inflation was tame, and it took the best part of 5 years to get out of the recession, so most assumed this whole QE thing wasn't so bad after all. But then COVID came along, and a government-mandated super recession started, and our governments had no choice but to go the route of QE again. They printed money and they spent money. They did everything they could to stimulate the economy while no production or economic activity was actually occurring. But then came the thing we all feared, and many of us even warned about: inflation, and at a far greater rate than the government had expected. Nominal figures touched nigh on 10%, and the real data was sitting well above that at 15% or even higher. The US dollar was exposed as nothing more than a plaything of the most irresponsible government we'd ever seen, and suddenly it didn't seem as strong as it used to, and it of course didn't stop there. The dollar is weak, and America's enemies decided now was the time to strike, to fight back and finally take the US dollar off its pedestal. Enter BRICS, the new alliance of growing countries dead set on taking over the world. Even though they started as nothing more than an invention of a JP Morgan banker trying to sell more stocks from these countries, they decided it could be more than that, and so Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa forged ahead. Granted, South Africa isn't much of a valuable ally, but India, Brazil, and China are all growing, and Russia controls a huge degree of the world's natural resources, which does give this organization a lot of sway, and Saudi Arabia has been expressing interest in joining the organization as well. But where do these countries and their attack on the US dollar actually stand? Well, it starts with China and their insistence that the US dollar isn't as valuable as everyone thinks. As of last year, every single oil transaction for the best part of a century had happened through the US dollar, even when not even one of the participants were the United States. So if China bought oil from Saudi Arabia, it was priced in and paid for in dollars, but this was where the assault started. China began talks whereby they established the possibility of not using US dollars when buying oil, and Saudi Arabia, also seeing strained relations with the US, decided to entertain those talks. It actually went a lot better than most people realized, and about a year ago they ran a test, and China paid for their oil using yuan instead of dollars. Granted, the transaction was still priced in dollars, as the yuan is not stable or credible enough to actually take a risk on Saudi Arabia's behalf, but it was the start of a process, and it set a precedent for what was to come. Now, months on from that event, and they've done this multiple times, and now other countries are looking to this example and realizing that they may be able to do something rather similar. And here is where the attack really steps up a notch, because it isn't something so simple as buying oil with another currency. It's about creating another currency actually backed by oil in the first place. Putin has been making many speeches over the last year, as you'd expect for the leader of a country at war, and he's made it extremely apparent that he bills this a war not against the Ukrainians but against the West, against NATO, and against America. In these speeches, he's been making statements about what he's planning: a joint currency, but not some run-of-the-mill fiat currency that can easily be inflated away and has no trust, no excessive money printing here, here, and that's his main point. From this alone, it's clear what his intent is. Putin believes that the US dollar is on the way out, that its controllers have been too irresponsible with its control, and that the time is right for a new competitor to come in and take over. And this is where the BRICS gives him an upper hand. Altogether, they control around 1/3 of the entire landmass of the earth, and with Saudi Arabia on their side too, they control more than that when it comes to natural resources. Now, details are thin, but the claim is that these countries will unite and build a single currency not controlled by any single country, but by all of them together, and that the value of that currency would be backed up by the commodities these countries export. And Russia truly seem intent on this idea, even if uniting all these countries together, especially when it comes to India and China, may be an incredibly hard sell. In fact, Russia has already gone some way in removing the fiat nature from its ruble, offering a fixed exchange rate of 1 gram of gold for 5,000 rubles, making it almost gold-backed and perhaps the only non-sort of fiat currency in the world today. And while the ruble is certainly not performing well, it slid by over 30% in value over the last year since Russia forced payment for natural gas in rubles. It's certainly not performing awfully and defied expectations from economists the world over. And this is where our potential salvation lies, in the world of gold, in a form of money that simply cannot be created out of thin air and therefore has no threat of governments printing more, debasing what we all have and stealing value from right underneath our noses. Many have said that gold would be replaced by cryptocurrency, but those who threw their lot in with crypto have seriously regretted it over the last year, and there is even now a gold-backed cryptocurrency called PAX-G, which holds 1 real ounce of gold in a vault for every token minted, and take a look at their graph, it is holding its peg very well. And as most cryptos are down 70 or even 80% from their highs just a few years ago, gold is actually up and even touched $2,000 per ounce for the first time since 2020, and it's currently sitting just a few percent away from all-time highs. And let's not forget that inflation is well and truly not over, especially in the United States. The government is still printing money at a huge rate, funding massive infrastructure projects that it just can't afford, along with maintaining typical spending at rates far greater than the government's income. And yes, the Fed is still technically reducing the size of its balance sheet and acting quantitative tightening, but it's happening at such a slow rate that to erase the money print and taken out post-COVID, we'd need to see this maintained for literally decades, and that simply isn't going to happen. Core inflation levels are still sitting about 5% month after month, and they aren't going down, which means the job is not done. Inflation is still strong and it's not going to disappear all on its own, and despite this fact that inflation is still decimating the average American's bank account, the Fed already decided to act prematurely and claim that rate hikes were done and not needed anymore. And of course, literally just 2 weeks after that announcement, the entire market soundly bet against that statement, realizing just how ludicrous it all is. So does anyone really think the Fed is going to fight inflation and win? Well, the real answer is clearly no. So gold is looking very appealing, hovering around its all-time high levels, just bursting to break through and finally make some people very, very rich, and it makes sense why. Gold is an inflation hedge as old as time. It is impossible to inflate away, and if the US dollar is to suffer, if say the US defaults on its debt, as it's looking possible over the coming weeks, where else would you rather have your money? If risk-on assets are underperforming, which they have been for well over a year now at this point, why not choose the gold standard in risk-off assets or gold itself? Well, I actually think the best point of action may not be gold itself, but gold mining companies, as they act as a sort of levered play upon gold itself. And this is where this video's partner US Gold Mining, trading as USGO on the Nasdaq, comes into play. The idea is really simple. When gold prices move up, the values of gold miners move up in value by an even greater amount, and at the moment analysts are across the board expecting gold to perform really well, with Bank of America's analysts expecting gold to rise by 25% over the coming years, from $2,000 an ounce up to $2,500, a major move for something as stable as the oldest form of money. And this relationship of gold stocks outperforming gold itself is fully supported by the data. In almost all examples, the former have done better than the latter, leading many people to look to this area instead of the physical asset itself, myself included. Now, is this just some random phenomena, or is there a reason behind this behavior? Well, of course there's a reason behind behind it, and it's really simple. Gold mining stocks have one real mandate: to get gold out of the ground, to sell it, and to generate a profit. Now, the gold in the ground comes at a far cheaper cost than once it's out, so as gold prices on the open market start to rise, these stocks that are mining it start to profit to a far greater degree, and of course it doesn't cost any extra to mine that now more valuable gold out. If gold prices were $1,500 per ounce before, and that would have generated a company $500 per ounce of profit, then when prices are $2,000 an ounce, that's $1,000 per ounce of profit, or twice as much profit for only a 33% increase in the price of gold. That is fundamentally why these gold mining stocks rise in value at a quicker rate than gold itself, because their profits stand to increase to a far greater degree. Now, why is US gold mining on my radar? Because they are an undervalued gold mining company, meaning not only do they stand to win if gold prices do rise, but they have a decent chance of outperforming their competitors if gold prices don't go up as well. Now, the CEO of US Gold Mining is Tim Smith, who is a professional geoscientist with over 25 years of experience in mineral exploration and mining, but notably, he has a really strong track record when it comes to gold, in particular in Australia and Canada. He was actually the VP of exploration at Caminat Gold, which was acquired by the world's largest gold company a few years ago for 520 million Canadian dollars. Now, the deposit he sold then was about 30% of the size of the deposit US Gold Mining currently has, and he sold it for a valuation of $130 per ounce of gold in the ground. To put that into perspective, at the time of me making this video, USGO is valued at under $20 per ounce, and the three most recent buyouts of gold in the region in 2020, 2021, and 2022 all happened at over $100 an ounce. If Tim Smith manages to sell this deposit, shareholders stand to gain a massive return, something totally outsized for what is usual in this industry. Now, as for the nitty-gritty, the business is sitting on top of $20 million in cash from their IPO just a few weeks ago, which is standing ready to be used, getting this deposit ready for a potential sale. Alaska, the actual state itself, is investing hugely into infrastructure for this region, building roads and logistical capabilities, water and grid lines, and this is all going to help bring down the cost of extraction for this gold itself, which will of course help to boost their profits. On top of all this, the stock is getting really close to getting listed on the Russell 2000, which, if it happens, will likely lead to an influx of capital to the stock from index funds, pension funds, and retirement institutions and the like. So to summarize, gold miners act as a levered play compared to just outright buying gold itself, and gold appears to be in a very strong position going forward today as the US dollar is under huge amounts of stress. US gold mining is led by someone with a strong track record of success in the gold mining space, and he's heading up the exploration of this site that has indicated an inferred gold in the ground at a price a fraction of what other development sites have been sold for. It is for sure an interesting play, and of course no investment is certain at all, but US Gold Mining is a firm that's been on my radar since their IPO just a few weeks ago, and they should be on yours as well.